Hello, and welcome to Distracted DM. I'm Austin, the Distracted DM. And today, we are doing a bit of development for our, well, in this case, we're doing some development for my games, for my world. But the actual idea here is for me to talk out some of the processes that I do while I'm thinking up stuff for my games. I have a couple things in mind that I have to do for my game on Tuesday. So we should actually, we could potentially stay on track this time. But just to start with, the music that you're hearing is Fogweaver. Dungeon synth. I am a fan of dungeon synth music. And yeah, with permission from them, they're quite kind. I asked them if it was okay to use their music in stream, and they were cool with it. So I dropped their the link to their Bandcamp in chat. I again, big fan. There are a few dungeon synth bands that I will probably end up using to stream. At the moment, that's not what I have going around in my brain. In my brain, I have the Proto Men. What's to Act 2, Father of Death, I think is the name of the album. It's about like it's a band about they do different science fiction things. But the ones that I'm thinking of, it's the prequel to Mega Man. Is what I have going through my head. It's like a musical. It's great. But I do not have their permission. I do have Fogweaver's excellent permission. So, what are we doing today? Let me pull up. We are doing two things today. I need 2 books made because I get myself in trouble with things. I come up with really cool ideas during sessions, and then in between sessions, I have to actually like fluff them up and actually give some kind of substance. I can also come up with substance on the fly, but if I don't, then that's the problem, because then I have to come up with substance in between sessions. So, 2 books that we have to come up with. One of which is just kind of a lore book, but also I'm not going to be writing a book. I'm going to be writing like, I don't know, 8 entries or something. It is a path to lichdom. Actually, you know what? Maybe. I'm going to change the title of this stream from developing stuff to something more dramatic, which is a path to lichdom and designing a codex, because that's what we're doing. Okay, so again, hello, and thank you for joining me. Because these streams are one reason that I am able to actually get some work done. Especially because I intend on publishing some of this stuff at some point online somewhere. I'm probably going to make a Patreon or something. Because I come up with a lot of really cool items and stuff, and I put a lot of thought into it. Anyway, yeah. So, a path to lichdom. I think that is the title that I gave. Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. The name is On the Nature of Life Everlasting. It is a book of Ansev. It is a book about Ansev, who is one of the Harrows in my game. My game has two gods. They're like the humans that they're human brothers that ascended. They have saints and Harrows, like basically like good and bad middlemen for granting divine powers, that kind of stuff. Anyway, Ansev is one of the Harrows. One of my players is looking to get eternal life in some fashion. That was her stated goal from the beginning, and that's why she became a warlock. Or one of the reasons she became a warlock. And let me just make sure the music's not too crazy loud. This is not Aliens the Musical, which is also fantastic, and I would probably have on if I had permission. But I would also be distracted by that because it's pretty great. I'm a fairly positive person, if you have not been able to tell. I'm usually easy to please. Alright, so hopefully I have the music lower than my audio, than my mic, so we should be good. So, the first thing is On the Nature of Life Everlasting. The second is a codex, which is a magical item. and I took the idea from Matt Colville, MCDM. He made a bunch of codices. They are magical books that are instrumental to the existence of the worlds, pretty much, is how I interpret it, and kind of how I'm making mine. Anyway, so on the first, and the codex is going to be primarily game design. It's going to be making a magic item. And that'll be fun. We're going to be looking at a lot of examples, because that is usually how I come up with my own stuff. By being inspired by other things. So, on the nature of life everlasting. Boop. So, we're going to make slightly smaller font. Alright, so I'm just, like, this is going to be, I should probably use some sort of, I'm not entirely, like, super competent with format. No, format. Is it format? Insert, view, tool. No, format. Paragraph, align, and indent. Headers. Headers and footers. Headers and footers and footers and ditters. I know there's some. Oh, here we go. Boop. Heading 1. Yeah. Boop. Oh. Where'd my beautiful what am I using here? Caveat. Because it looks like writing. Medium caveat. Yeah, cool. Okay. Oh, look at that. You can make, let's see, heading. Update heading 1 to match. Cool. Okay, that works. All right, so on the nature of life everlasting. So here's the thing, right? We're going to be making a couple. So, let's boop. Ev. Let's see, so this is size 20, so we'll make this size... Oop, nope, not, this is size 20. Okay, we'll make the size 16, I guess, since I'm... no, I changed my mind. Alright, on the nature of life everlasting, here we go, okay. That's size 24, and there we go. So this is heading 1, update heading 1 to match. This is heading 2, update heading 2 to match. Okay. Yep, alright, I think that's good. Nice. Alright. Oh, okay. Hello. Oh, you know what's funny? I can talk back to you. I don't have to type into chat. Hello. Hello, Thorm Umbreon. How's it going? I'm pretty good. I did not have a game this evening, so I've made some time to work on one of my other games. Unfortunately, a couple of my players were sick this evening, so we did not have an in-person game. I run 4 games a week. Yeah, I run because I'm a professional dungeon master, which I only started. I don't know. I started doing it professionally like 4 months ago. Yeah, yes, it does suck, but I am trying to make productive use of the time. So yeah, so this is for my Tuesday game. What I'm doing right now, which is the first part is going to be coming up with the basic contents of this book, which is a path to lichdom. It is not necessarily a guide on how to become a lich, because I think that makes it, I don't want to say too easy, but I also like keeping things vague. I do, because I do a lot of improv with my games. Like I don't know, I prep like 10% of them, and then the other 90% is improvisation, because that's just my brain. And I come up with very good ideas in-game, and then I have to make sure that they're all consistent. That's the most important thing, is consistency. So, alright, so this is going to be the first entry. What I'm thinking of, pretty much here, is that this is going to be either one or multiple... Oh! Oh! Okay, so you're a new DM, and your friends want you to run Phandelver to level 10. And it's only supposed to go to level 5. I would be happy to help you expand that. I will very briefly... Oh, okay. Oh, you're in the middle of making, like, the extension to Phandelver? Oh, okay. Yeah. Cool. Okay, yeah, so you know what? Yeah, I have to do this. But... if you're still around in a bit, yeah, I would be happy to kind of like brainstorm with you on that. because I love coming up with ideas. And also, I am way better at expanding on things than cutting them down, which makes one-shots very difficult. Or it makes it very difficult to keep a one-shot to a single session, which I think is the idea behind a one-shot. But anyway, so the idea behind this is going to be, so the Seekers, Seekers of Ansev are priests of this Harrow, Ansev. The worst part is you're horrible at writing. It's practice. Also, you are your own worst critic, in my experience. So like, yeah, people will enjoy. Okay, here's the other thing. You're a new DM. People like playing their characters. They do not care so much. There are exceptions. There are totally exceptions, but people do not care so much about your world and the setting, unless it is directly relevant to their character. So, you don't really have to worry about writing. Like, I mean, you do. Yes. Oh my God. New players are the best. Okay. New players are also fantastic. I have lots of veteran players because got plenty of friends that play, and we've been playing for whatever. I started when I was 12. But yeah, new players are always a delight because they usually are not focused on their character sheets. And I don't want to say there's not like a bad way to. The ways that I'm talking about are not bad, but what to write for the last? So when you say write, oh, see, I'm very good. I don't know if you noticed the channel name, but Distracted DM. Yeah, I'm very good at being led on tangents. Yeah, the entrance and checkpoint currently done. Okay, what we're gonna do? I'm gonna spend 20 minutes. No, yes, yeah. What we're gonna do? We're going to shift our attention a little bit to help out a new DM. I am going to set a 20-minute timer because otherwise we could be at this for hours for as much time. Yeah, an airport checkpoint. Yeah. So let's see, do you have permission? What I'm going to do, you're going to see some Googling right now. Do I have permission to pull up I mean, Phandelver is, I think it's a free starting adventure, but I want to make sure it's okay to, let's see, D&D Beyond, yes, can I stream content? Probably. I'm just going to check. I used to work for an intellectual property law firm. Does FanCon include, yes, we love it, just follow the policies outlined above. Okay. Boop. Let's see. For live streams, free to access. Twitch, YouTube, not logged on. You can use WotC for token. Okay, so they're fine. Okay, it's fine. Especially, yeah. So, I'm gonna pull up Phandelver. Because I guess my brain is more interested right now in doing this. Here we go. Lost Mine of Phandelver. Let's see here. So you are at. And by the way, I've run Phandelver a little bit, but the way I run things, things never stay the same. So I actually don't know. I don't know Phandelver like the back of my hand. Okay, so you said that you are at Cragmaw, right? And let's see. Figure out the last 5 areas in the keep. You have the entrance and checkpoint currently done. The other thing, by the way, just in general, is that you are probably going to prep a lot more than will actually be used, especially in the next session. The other thing to remember is that just because you've prepped something, and your players have, and like the stuff that you prepped, let's say you prepped stuff in both directions. You prepped both left and right, and the players went left. That doesn't mean that the stuff on the right is wasted. You will develop a skill that will make it so that you can seamlessly integrate the content that you prepped to the right into wherever they're treading along on the left. So, like, never waste content. Well, that's not true. I definitely spend a lot of time on stuff that doesn't end up getting used. But, there's a quote. What is it? it's about I think it's about war and like a battlefield, but it's what is it? It's something like plans are useless. Planning is invaluable. So the idea you're getting your brain in the right, like you're getting your brain in the right mode when you're planning. And this is my dog, by the way, Josuke, my good boy. Yes. Yeah. So let's see. Let's see. So far, statue and players investigate, push, wall slides, reveal secret treasure room. Yeah. And the other one of the things that you'll figure out is so if you want to include secrets like that, you got to decide whether or not you're okay with the players not finding it. I always feel mixed on these things because if I think of a cool idea and I hide it, then like it's like, oh, like it does not get used again. If they don't find it, just you could use it later. Like you could come up, like you could have a backlog of cool secret things that you like. You've gotten me into okay. I'm just changing the name of the stream for a moment. Let's see. Let's see. Designing. What's a good name for the stream right now? This is new. Okay, I guess it's new BDM tips. And expanding and adventure. There we go. Bam. Okay. So, yeah. So, you could end up with a backlog of cool stuff. But one of the other things to keep in mind is, okay, kind of like dragons. Games called Dungeons and Dragons, right? And since you're doing Phandelver, there is a dragon in Phandelver. And so that's cool because you get to use a dragon in an intro adventure. Because what used to be really common is that people wanted to save the dragon or dragons until they could be like really big and really scary, which means that people wouldn't see dragons ever because most games end if you start at like level 1. This is true since like back to like 2nd edition. If most games, if you start at level 1, your game's probably gonna stop by level like 8. That's just how it is. That's Wizards of the Coast did a ton of market survey stuff, and yeah, they spent a ton of money on that. So most games don't get past like level 8, which is why earlier editions they did not make as much. They didn't make as much content for like those levels, later levels. Anyway, people want to use a dragon, but they want it to be scary, so they keep saving the dragon. They keep saving the dragon for until later and later and later, and then there's no dragon because you wanted a dragon fight at level 15 because you wanted to use an ancient red dragon. You didn't want to, but the players never got to level 15. So that's one reason that Phandelver I think is a good adventure because you get to use a dragon, in an intro adventure, which is great. So the purpose behind this tangent is that if you have cool ideas, use them sooner than later. Because you'll think of more cool ideas. Like that at least for me, that was always my concern. Like, oh, I don't want to use my cool idea too soon. I want to let it like gestate. I want to let it build up. But that what that means? That means that you're never going to get to the cool ideas. You're much better off using them when you think of them. Like at most, this is not a strict number, but if you think of a really cool idea or like a cool plot twist, use it at most like 5 sessions away. Like I would say 3, but like and you can drop like little hints, and the players might not like register that they've realized whatever the thing is. Okay, here you go. This is a bad example, but this is okay. So there's also a difference between cool twists and ideas, that kind of stuff. There's a difference between that and just like your world and like lore stuff. Lore stuff and developing your world is for you in general. Again, this is in general, and I said something about this earlier, that like players mostly care about playing their own characters. So if they get to play their character and make decisions and like they don't feel like they're being railroaded, then they're gonna be happy. So like Thorn, your stuff with like Cragmaw and like saying you're a terrible, saying that you are a terrible writer. One, when you say you're a terrible writer, you're not writing a novel here. I'm not even sure what you mean when you say that you're a terrible writer. You should elaborate on that because I'm not sure what you mean. Do you mean that you're like a terrible like dungeon designer? Because like when you say terrible writer, what I think of is like writing dialogue and writing scenes, writing things to be read. That's when you say that you're a terrible writer in chat. Okay, you're not good at describing. Okay. So this is unfortunately down to the individual person. I would like to say that it depends on two things, I think. It depends on your imagination, and it depends on your vocabulary. And like I have a pretty decent vocabulary, but that is a consequence of me reading a lot as a kid. So I can't help you with that right now. I could say read a lot. That might help. Or I don't know if it's as good, but like maybe try audiobooks. I have not read a lot in a few years. But I do enjoy audiobooks now. And I used to be like oh, audiobooks, you should be reading. But yeah, that maybe audiobooks will also help your vocabulary. But yeah, so two things, right? So vocabulary, which is not even that necessary. And the other thing is imagination. And when I say that, I mean when I am describing a scene to players, I am thinking from like a first or third person perspective. I am thinking I'm in that scene, so I'm in the cave. And what do I see? And you don't have to describe everything. I think I always like giving credit where credit's due. The Dragon Age RPG from like Green Ronin Games or something from like a decade ago. On their DM screen was really good advice. And it was just like a side panel or whatever it's called. But one of the pieces of advice that stuck with me was describe two senses. So, like if they're in the castle, you could describe what they're smelling, and you could describe what they're feeling, like on their skin. Like if it's like if there's like let me think, if there's like a leak, or if like there's like a I do like okay, like one that I like a lot is like when players are in like a swamp, describe them getting like bit by bugs, right? And like the smell, or what they're hearing, like the creaking of wood. In the castle, they can hear like in Cragmaw. I mean, we can see right here in Cragmaw, it's a ruined castle, it's a ruined keep. So like there's rubble everywhere. So you could describe like the sound of like stone falling, and so that's hearing. And heck, like you could like what they're feeling. They could feel like the rubble beneath their feet. I wouldn't do the rubble on two things. I wouldn't say like you hear rubble falling and you feel rubble beneath your feet, like making your footing unsteady. I would use like two different sources. So they could be hearing the rubble, and they can like, if it's like nighttime or whatever, they could like see the shadows flickering off of the ancient stone. So that's one thing. And then the other thing that like, oh, if you're concerned about accurately describing like a room, I would say make it short and sweet. Do they have? They probably have. Yeah, here we go. So they have in Cragmaw, they have like, and I know you're looking at expanding the castle, so you like fluffing up. Who's my good boy, huh? Fluffing. You're looking at fluffing it up, so you're like, oh, like writing new areas. Okay. So I guess we'll get into the part of writing the new areas. So you said that you need to figure out what to write for the last 5 areas in the keep. So describing the last 5 areas of the keep, is that what you mean? Like the King's Quarters, the Owlbear Tower. My players never got to Cragmaw, by the way. See, like I have games that have lasted I've had campaigns, adventures that lasted for 3 years. They went from level 1 to level like 18. It was like 2.5 years. But I've had just as many games that only went for, I don't know, I went like, I mean, I've had some, some games that only happened only like 3 sessions. But, I've had more games that only got to level, I don't know, 5 or 6. And that's a whole other thing, making games last a while, like making campaigns. Just the biggest thing on that point, enthusiasm. Your enthusiasm and your player enthusiasm, which is obviously not something that you can necessarily control. Anyway, so you're looking to expand this, like, yeah, help. If you do not wish to volunteer more information, I'm sure you do. But if you're not near your keyboard or whatever, you're just listening. So I'm going to assume that you mean that you're trying to, let's see, what'd you say? So they have the entrance and the checkpoint currently done. So when you say checkpoint, maybe you mean like the barracks or archer post. Third area is meant to be the first treasure room. The archer post? I see. This is what I have to work with. If you have like the book version of, or I guess like the pamphlet version or whatever, of Phandelver, it might be different. But okay, so if I were to expand Cragmaw a little bit, like what you were looking at doing, figure out what to write for the last 5 areas in the keep. What I would do, and like the most creative thing you said there is there's a statue at the end of the hallway, and like that's good, that's great. Coming up with a secret treasure room, great. Like that's not bad at all. So I gave advice on describing things. And as far as it coming up with like these little flavor text things to describe the room. The most common questions that players have, I didn't ask if you're playing in person, if you're using a tabletop or a virtual tabletop if it's online, or if you're just doing it all theater of the mind. I like doing a mix. I definitely, in person, if there's going to be combat, I love miniatures. Online, I pay a lot of money. Because I'm a whale. That is to say, I spend a lot of money on things I like. So thus, in person, I spent a lot of money on miniatures. Online, I have spent a lot of money. I use Foundry VTT. I spent a lot of money on Patreons, like maps and all that kind of stuff, to make them really cool, because that's what excites me, making stuff really cool. Sorry, got distracted by a message. Anyway. Okay, so you know what? I'm just gonna come up with. I'll come up with 3. I'll come up with like 3 extra rooms for Phandelver, and you can see if for Cragmaw. If there's anything cool like that. Yeah, if you like any of it, you can use it. Again, I do not know a lot about Cragmaw, so I'm gonna do a little bit of scanning, and let's see, Dark Hall. Oh right. So if you feel like you're not good at writing and like describing like a room, like just one piece of advice I would say. Oh, that's right. See, I get so distracted. This helps me during a game, by the way. When I'm running a game, this is very helpful. I have high-end ADHD. I'm actually on medication right now, which only helps a little bit. But anyway. It's very helpful during. Let's see. Okay, it's very helpful while I'm running a game because I'm so stimulated. I can follow multiple tracks. It's great. That's when I feel I'm in like a flow state. 4 more rooms and the secret room. Okay. Yeah. So, I think. Let's see. Do they have a secret location archer post? Oh, crime in the main defense secret location and the. That's just talking about secret. It's that nobody knows where Cragmaw is. Okay. For developing a room, if you want there to be like combat there, and this is easier said than done, but if you're preparing, if you're doing prep, then you can do this. Traps are cool if you use them as part of a combat or as part of an encounter. They're less, they are not, they're like, I'm not saying don't use traps outside of combat, but they're like a tax on the party's resources. Like, There's like a scything wall trap. You know, and somebody gets hit, they take some damage, so they have to heal or whatever. But what's cooler is if the scything wall trap is like part of an ambush, like when the scything wall trap comes down, and it's like, let's say it's like a continuous like scything wall trap. Oh, like Skyrim. In fact, like you can look to video games for this because video games have a lot of game. They have a lot of game design in them. That makes sense, right? I'll read this in a moment. But yeah, like so, if you think of like how you might use, if you think about how you might use traps in a game like Skyrim to kill enemies, because I know I do that in Skyrim, but I also play with like lots of mods and like make the game harder. So like those scything wall traps are serious business if you can lead enemies into them. But on the other hand, like, so here's the thing. This is a way of thinking while you're running a game. The bad guys don't know they're the bad guys. They don't know that the heroes are the heroes. The bad guys are living their lives. And they, you know, like, so, but I would also say don't get too far deep into this and like start writing out their whole lives. They exist while the player's attention is on them. But while the player's attention is on them, they are, you know, they have motivations, they have desires, they have ways of expressing themselves. And most of them don't want to die. But also, they want to use their environment to their advantage. It depends on how smart they are, tactical, you know, tactics, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so like traps, presumably they set the traps. So like traps are alarms and deterrents, but they can also be an ally in combat. So a portcullis, like they could be a portcullis trap. Like the players walk through a gate, and the portcullis slams down and splits the party in half, and an alarm goes off. And then the party has to fight, you know, split up with a portcullis between them. That I lifted from Matt Colville, who I'm a big fan of. He got me way back into D&D. I took a break from D&D for, I don't know, a year or something. I was less interested in it. But yeah, when I started seeing his early channel stuff, I got way back into it. Now I run four games a week, and 3 of them are paid. Okay, so let's see. So the Phandalin. Let's see here. Recent discover showed that they have taken Treasure Keep. The guild promised 40 gold pieces for getting at least half the items back. The guild. Man, I don't even know what guild this is. Oh, is this like the merchant guild? The guild's gone on ahead of you. Man, I don't know what guild this is. I assume that this is a guild at Phandalin. Guild. Phandalin Miners Exchange. Okay, yeah, it's the trading post. I changed it to something else. Gone on ahead, huh? Gone. Oh, is this no, yeah. What was it? Gone. Recent discovery. Cartloads. Oh, is this the beginning of the Cragmaw Keep chapter? The text for the just the introduction to the adventure period. Okay. Okay. I have so many hallways that I don't need to write for. Okay. Yeah. You made things harder for yourself. Yeah, that's the way of it. Oh, that's your intro. Okay. I got you. Oh, to Cragmaw. Okay. Cragmaw Treasure Keep. That is a more appealing name than Cragmaw Castle. Like I like alliteration, like CC Cragmaw Castle, but you got the word treasure in there, which is gonna hook players, because they hear treasure and they're like, ooh, are there magic items in there? Okay, so let's see. So the blah blah blah, gone on ahead of you. Okay, so Cragmaw Castle. Let's say we want to do like three cool things with rooms here. Owlbear Tower. Owlbears are cool. I like a version of owlbears that have a chance of. So another game, 13th Age, which is a big favorite of mine. It's based on 3rd and 4th edition D&D. It's made by some of the creators of those editions. Owlbears can rip off limbs. I think it's called like Feed the Cubs. But that's the kind of thing you definitely want to get an okay with players from first, so that they're like not, and also like let them know like, oh, like there'll probably be a way for you to get your limb back. But yeah, like on a crit, it's on a crit, and then like if they do like a bunch of damage or something, yeah, the owlbear can like rip off a limb, which definitely separates owlbears from other creatures. Other thing, let's see here. Oh yeah, so here's the thing, right? Hobgoblins. I try to avoid rolling initiative for every time players see enemies like this. Like they are smart, tough, and loyal. So okay, at the start of the combat, one hobgoblin runs to warn the king. But like, if they're on guard, they see like 4 or 6 adventurers, they're outnumbered. They should both run. But also at the same time, like for that, I make it clear that to the players, like, oh, they look like they're gonna run, and you can do like initiative, or you can ask like what the players want to do. But that way, because it can slow the game down a lot if you like roll initiative. Okay, your turn. Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff with timing. That's just like other learning how to run games kind of things. So let's say we want to make some cool areas here in Cragmaw. Okay, one thing, a favorite of mine, and I don't know, we could do it with the Owlbear Tower. A trapdoor. A trapdoor with a pit trap. There we go. Pit trap. Pit trap. So King Roll, right, the leader of the you make the statue. I will let you talk this out, and I will address this once I'm done. Yeah. So you can add a pit trap into like one of these towers, right? You could add it into the king's quarters. Think about like Jabba from Star Wars, with he's got like the Rancor pit, right? So, but the Rancor pit wasn't just a pit, and you fell down there and you sprained an ankle. So you can do a pit trap. This is part of the traps as like environment. This is part of like the traps as an ally or traps as an environment. Pit trap. It opens. Let's say it's like a 10 or 20 foot fall. Depends on how like difficult you want it to be. I would probably make it 20 feet. 20 foot fall. Spikes down there, but it's more than just spikes. There's a room down there with a carrion crawler, because carrion crawlers like eating dead things, or ghouls. Because ghouls also like eating dead things. So it's like a second combat down there. So like if you want to stick to the guard barracks with like the hobgoblin standing guard in the room, there could be a trap there. So like if the hobgoblins want to stay and fight, even if like one runs and comes back like it's supposed to, if you put a pit trap in that room, then let's say, I don't know, 2 players get dumped into it. Don't make it like a 5-foot trap. Make it a 10 by 10 trap. I don't actually know how big this room is. But yeah, so they get dumped in there, and there are ghouls or a carrion crawler or I don't know, like a gelatinous cube or something down there. And like to add like, why does this exist? Because that's another thing. Put like a little. You can, if you Google oubliette. I'll Google what an oubliette is. I didn't know what an oubliette was until I knew what the oubliette is because of Labyrinth, the movie with David Bowie from the 80s. Let the novel open like an oubliette under your feet. Uh, a dungeon with an opening only at the top. Um, so that's interesting. But it could be like, so it could have like a drain. It could be like a drain for water, and it leads, to like outside the castle. There's like a grate, right, in the wall, like down there. But yeah, so pit trap opens, and there's a carrion crawler down there. Oh, what's it there for? Like maybe the hobgoblins throw trash down there. That's also what I use Odiogs for. The trash monsters, the trash beasts. Odiogs in like city sewers, because they eat garbage. So they're kind of like gelatinous cubes. They're like natural cleaners, and it's like a symbiotic relationship. It could be that the hobgoblins also go number 1 or number 2 in there. I don't want to tell you how gross to make your game. But yeah, so that is why that could be there, right? Let's see. That's one thing that you can do to spice up a room, right? And another one, yeah, like if it's a hallway, and you want to actually make like a tactical hallway. There's an archer post up here somewhere, right? Sentries. It's a room littered with debris. Arrows, slits opposite the door offer a fine view over the terrace. Okay. What I'm thinking is, if you want to make like a hallway encounter, how big are the hallways here in Cragmaw? Let's see. Okay, 1 square is 5 feet. I feel like this is a small keep. I would personally, I would probably. I don't know. I guess I tend to make things on like a bigger scale. And I don't know if that's good or bad. Because I would say, if these squares equal like 10 feet instead of 5. There's actually not a lot of hallways in Cragmaw Keep. Everything's just room to room. What I was gonna say is, like a scythe, like a swinging scythe trap, like in Skyrim or whatever. Like if you have that in a hallway, and then you have like an archer post, and when I say that, I mean like at the end of the hallway, there's like a little like barricade built up, and like there are a couple archers hanging out behind it. They're on guard, whatever. But like the scything, if the scythes are right in front of the archers, like right in front of their post, and they intentionally set their post up like behind the right adjacent to the sides. That way, any melee characters have to stand in the scythes if they want to like stand at the barricade and like stab and like try to like stab over the post. Like at the hobgoblins, and like use cover. Make sure you. I would. It seems to me like when I get players that are new to my games, but they've played in other games, a lot of them have not used the cover rules, either for themselves or enemies using cover. Like, this is like D&D is the majority of the rules of D&D are about combat, and it should, if you want it to be interesting, in my opinion, if you want it to be interesting, it should be tactical. So that includes like using cover and that kind of stuff. And there's like there are feats that deal with cover too. Make use of cover. The Dungeons Master's Guide is hard to read through, but it does have some interesting things on traps, some good ideas, that kind of stuff. Like green slime is green. One of the most memorable moments for one of my newer players that has been that I was basically his first TM, and he's been playing for like 5 years now, and he runs his own games. It was in a castle like this. There were a bunch of ceramic pots, and I think they like took the pots or something. I forgot why, but some of the pots had green slime in them. And like when I put them there originally, I thought like, oh, like if they maybe if they know what this is, they can like use it. Oh, that's right. And there was also green slime on the floor because some of the pots had broken. So like, but they didn't put it together. So they put the pots in their backpack. And after they had like the crap beaten out of them, like they'd been through combat, I'm like, all right, like roll to like roll a percentile to see if the pot in your pack broke, and it did, and the green slime ate through the backpack. I didn't, it didn't really like destroy a lot of stuff because that would be a bummer. But like that player like remembers that, like the green slime like falling out of their pack, out of the bottom of their pack, and like hitting their leg and doing some damage. And I think then after that, I think they tried to weaponize the green slime pots, because then they're like, oh, we could do this, and yeah, so there were like 6 pots. They had fun with it. Okay, man. Anyway, so let's see, Cragmaw Castle. We've got Cragmaw Castle. And hey, we've gone way over 20 minutes, haven't we? Man. Okay. So what's the okay? We're just gonna skip to the King's Quarters because like this is the boss fight, right? So what's the deal with the boss fight here? Let's see. King Groll. King Groll is a fierce old bugbear with 45 hit points. Oh, good. So here's the thing, right? When you say you make the statue of King Groll, think about this. If the statue is made of King Groll, who made it? Did like goblins and bugbears and hobgoblins make it? If so, did they have like is it good quality, or does it look like goblins made it? Like that way, because I find players often think like, I don't know, like you'll be surprised what players think of, and like they'll wonder, they'll like ask like, oh, like does that make sense? Like, oh, like what do you mean? Like there's a statue of King Groll, and like how long's he been here? Blah blah blah. So like think about that. Like think like when you describe the statue of King Groll, how long like how long has he been king? And nice. Yeah, how long has he been king? And like who made the statue? Or did captured workmen make the statue? And it's actually, nice. Anyway, so the boss fight. I assume that this is the boss fight of let's see. So you've got King Groll, who is what level are the players supposed to be when they get here? Are they supposed to be like level 2 or level 3 or what? Let's see. Probably says it at the beginning. Blah blah blah. I'm gonna assume that they're supposed to be like level 3. Let's see here. So so a bugbear. Bugbear is CR1, so except he just has more hit points. Oh, okay. Oh, see, you're prepping you're prepping way ahead of your game, which is fine. It is good. Like if you have the time to do that kind of prep, that's good, because then you can drop hints about like Cragmaw Castle, like because that's immersive. If like characters mention stuff, yeah. So like if characters mention stuff offhandedly, like I don't know, like they mention, I don't know, they're talking to like the merchant, and like yeah, like the merchant just like not trying to get their attention to it, but like mentions something about like, oh, like that old keep, like, or like that old like Cragmaw Castle, like dropping stuff about like the world that they're going to encounter idly, is cool, because then like when the players hear about it, they're like, oh right, oh yeah, like the merchant mentioned that. Oh, like I wonder if the merchant knows more about it, or something like that. It's cool because it makes the world feel more real. It increases verisimilitude, which is basically just immersion. Uh, yeah, yeah, and like yeah, and again, it depends. Like, oh, like you probably want to keep the players like charging off, like because like they hear like, oh, there's like a treasure keep nearby. Screw whatever we're doing right now. Let's go after that treasure keep. One, you could let them do that, or two, you could like drop it like in the middle of like other information, or like while they're buying stuff, the guy's just talking about like local rumors, or I forgot what my third one was. But yeah, so yeah, Anyway, let's see. So how is this fight? Okay, so he's a bugbear. So he's a bugbear with more hit points, with max hit points, basically. Um, he's got a wolf that with 18 hit points, uh, with max hit points. Yeah. He's got a doppelganger disguised as a female drow. Doppelgangers are cool. They can really mess with people's heads. Uh, they can really mess with people's heads if they pretend to be people that the players are friends with. Uh, let's see. At the point my extension starts, the conclusion of the model itself, they're gonna be level 5. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, I see. Okay, so like, yeah, so your extension starts, and don't be afraid to like. One, there's a lot of free online resources. But what I was gonna get at is look up old adventures. Look up, look up adventures. Be inspired by them or just use them, whatever. Um, there's a website called adventurelookup.com. It's like a community created site kinda, and like it compiles like all the old adventures that people could think of. Um, I'm using the Lost Mines of Phandelver itself as a base to help me make the adventure, since it's for the Lost Mine. Yeah. And the other thing you might consider, the players might. Some players think about this kind of stuff, and others don't. But the players might think, hey, like this is a keep. Like, can we take control of this keep? And my answer would be yes. In fact, I use some rules that if players want to like make a base, like a stronghold, they can get mechanical bonuses. Nothing crazy, but yeah. All right, so let's see. Doppelganger, blah blah blah. This boss fight right now involves let's pull up the map too. I'm gonna pop it into another tab so I don't have to keep on looking back and forth. Oh, you have a map of what? You have a map of the region. That's if it's a region map, that's super cool. Region maps are cool. That another thing is like, oh yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to talk about this kind of stuff. Brainstorming is very fun. And also, yeah, like DMing, like being a DM seems so scary. It's not. Oh, an isometric version. Oh my gosh, you drew out an isometric version of the map for the adventure. That is so cool. I love isometric stuff. Because of like the old like the Baldur's Gate games and that kind of stuff. That's really cool though. Yeah. But okay, so let me look at the. I think that's I think that's practice, right? Learning how to do fancy details, practice, and looking at like other people's work. Speaking of which, oh man, when did the music end? Let me pull up another Fogweaver. So as I said, the music that I've got on stream is Fogweaver. I got their permission because I am a huge fan of theirs. Okay, I'm gonna pull up their Bandcamp since I only have one of their albums downloaded. Oh, you know what? Actually, I can just pull them up on Spotify. Yeah. Boop. So this is Spellwind by Fogweaver. And assuming it plays. I think it's going to play. I hear wind. Yeah. So yeah, Fogweaver. Look at that! Listen to that. Yeah. Here, I'll paste their Bandcamp again. Bloop. I as far as like music in my games, I want to use music in my games, but I find that it is too much for me to also manage because like I gotta, unless I prep, if I like prep the music beforehand, but I do have a couple players though that like looking up music, so I will often make that a player task if they want to. Some players really like that kind of stuff. Is the volume okay? Yeah, I think it is. Okay, cool. Yeah. Actually, I'm going to lower it a little bit on my end because it's a little loud. Where did I play it? Oh, right. Total play over here. Boop. A little bit lower. There we go. Okay. So, Cragmaw, the King's Quarters is 14. Really? The King's Quarters has nothing interesting in it. It's got a table and a... Really? Really? It's got nothing cool. Okay, platforms. Like, man, this is supposed to be a boss fight room? So you have the king who's a bugbear, you've got a wolf, and you've got a doppelganger. Okay. Wants to question the dwarf. The doppelganger intends to kill the dwarf and destroy the map. If the villains have been warned that an attack is imminent, hides behind the door in the northeast, leaving it open a crack and hoping to attack an intruder from the rear. So that's cool. Grohl holds Gundren hostage, ready to kill the dwarf if the players don't back off. Pardon me. Okay, so that makes this more interesting. Since the king has the dwarf hostage, if they are alert. If they're alerted to the presence of the party beforehand. So if one of the if a hobgoblin or something tells them that the intruders are here. Oh, cool. Yeah. Did a thing you didn't even think of until now. Ladder leading down. Treasure room. Yeah. Okay. So a really basic way to spice up, like, a boring room like this, is like a platform. And in this case, I guess that would be... This is supposed to be, like, what? This used to be a tower? Yeah, this is round. This definitely looks like it used to be a tower. So maybe like a set of stairs. That way, and there could be like the doppelganger. Doppelgangers are kind of tough. Doppelgangers have 52 hit points normally. So like a set of stairs. The doppelganger hiding is a cool idea. I would say if what's it called? If the players aren't, if they are not aware that the players are coming, then have like a ruined old set of stairs going up, and the doppelganger is like as the drow is like hanging out at the top of the stairs and has like a bow, right? That way they're like. It's more, and like you could even add some rubble in here or something. You could add a trap room in here, or some kind of trap, because it's kind of boring just for like a flat area. So, because like if the players like get up to the area undetected, and like the fight's just gonna be the wolf in close combat, the bugbear in close combat, and the doppelganger in close combat, and like so it's just gonna be a slog. That's gonna be kind of boring. Yeah. Let's see. You can add a complication in the form of a hobgoblin warband returning home. This is cool. I like this. Having patrols, having like just have like one hobgoblin as like one or two hobgoblins on patrol throughout the keep. Because that's not a combat. That is a difficulty to overcome. Like to take care of the hobgoblin, because they have what, like 11 hit points or 11 hit points. But they have high AC because they have chainmail and a shield. So like take care of a hobgoblin before he can cry out, or like lure him away, you know. Oh dang, the warband is pretty serious. Oh, here we go. Another thing. During the boss fight is when this two things. Either during the boss fight is when this warband returns home. You can because I think there's windows in the right. Yeah. So there are like these arrow slits. So like if they're maybe if the players are talking, or if like the fight started, you can say that the players either see or hear through the arrow slits like the sound of like half a dozen hobgoblins or something, like returning and like crying out in dismay at finding like dead hobgoblins. That way it turns it into a race for time, because now they have to now they have to either rescue the dwarf or kill the king or whatever, on like a time crunch. And they could like, oh man, this is great. This is a good idea, I think, because I'm excited about it. Like, because the player, look, there's a table and chairs in here. They could use the table to blockade the door or the chairs or whatever. Like one of the players could one or two of the players could spend like a round or two like while the other, I don't know how many players you have, how many characters, but like while the other characters are distracting, fighting or whatever, like one or two of the players could like block up this door with the tables and chairs, that kind of stuff, in order to delay the others. Some players think about this. Some players do not. So this is another, like, you gotta think like, oh man, like you, if nobody's thinking like, how can we delay them, and like because you don't, this is another difficult part. Do you, like, how dangerous do you want to make your game? Because if the players are fighting the boss and his wolf and the doppelganger, and a full war party arrives behind them, they're screwed, right? The dramatic thing is the threat of the war party arriving and bursting in. So hopefully your players might think to block the door, and then that's cool, because then like you can, like, while they're fighting, the war party has its own turn, and like they, you can roll athletics or attack rolls or whatever for them to like try to batter down the door. But yeah, you can describe like their axes like breaking through the wood, on their turn, and that's cool. And that will spice up this otherwise kind of like poopy boss fight a lot. If there's that time crunch, I would go with that, or one of the traps, or both. But yeah, let's see. I did a thing. Okay, yeah. So let's see. I had a ladder leading down one last level in the treasure room, so I turned it into a pool that's filled with coins. Oh, like a Scrooge McDuck pool. Yeah. That's, yeah, like Scrooge McDuck dud, except you can't dive into money like that unless you're really trained well, like Scrooge McDuck is. Yeah. So I am gonna get back to. I'm supposed to have a movie night with what's it called? I'm gonna have a movie. We're gonna watch the extended the '80s Arnold Schwarzenegger Conan the Barbarian movie. Because I found out there was an extended version. So in a little bit, I'm gonna do that with a bunch of players and friends. We're gonna watch that. But I am definitely going to. We're gonna do what we were intending to do. But yes, I was happy to take a little break and/or complete a complete tangent to do a little bit with that. So, on the nature of life everlasting, the Book of Ansev, I can now move back to what I was originally titled. This is the what is it? I don't know. I don't remember what the stream title was before. It was like developing. Oh, lichdom. Oh, a guide. That's right. It was like a guide to lichdom and designing a codex. Okay, yeah, we'll do that. It's a good title. Okay, so on the nature of life everlasting. So this is going to be just like a journal of seekers of Ansev. So like their notes kind of on the secret of lichdom. So how many parts do we want this to have? We'll say that, let's see. Okay, so entries, right? So journal entries maybe? Journal entry. So journal entry 1. And we'll do. Right, okay, journal entry 1. Journal entry 2. Journal entry 3. Yeah, very happy to help. Yeah, journal entry 4. Oh, you know what? Okay, we're gonna have 4 journal entries here. It's gonna be incomplete. There will be probably like a second book. So what this is a book that that one of my players found because her character is a warlock. She wants to live forever. Let's see here. So she found this book. And there's a bunch of of story and lore things that I'm not going to go into because it can get distracting. But so this is an example of writing content for your game. This is an example of writing, like kind of like a handout, because that can be very fun. That can be very cool for your players, because like you wrote something for your game for your players, and that's exciting. Usually, people read it and they'll probably like share it. They'll take notes about it, that kind of stuff. I don't do it all the time. I do it pretty. I design a lot of magic items. I do not. I write scenes, like cutscenes for my games, like kind of like a video game cutscene where like you see like the villain doing something, or somebody like that is adjacent to what's going on. So the players get some out of world, like some out of character knowledge. The characters don't get that knowledge, but the players. It's kind of like watching a movie when you know things are happening, but you can't do anything about it. It's fun. So, okay. So journal entry 1. Do I know of any magic items? Oh, do I know of any magic items you could reward them with? What do you have any idea of what kind of magic item that you're looking at? The party is 2 fighters, a rogue, and a wizard. I like wizards. I'm happy. I don't get a lot of wizards, which is whatever. I don't know, because I guess I like wizards because spell scrolls are extra special for them. Okay, so here you go. For the wizard, a spell tome, and it doesn't just have to be a dead wizard spellbook, right? But it doesn't have to just be a dead wizard spellbook. It could be a magical dead wizard spellbook. Pardon me. And I'll really quick I'll go over something else, like another item for them. But a dead wizard spellbook, you can look this up and like for other inspirational ideas. But let me think. What have I used? A dead wizard spellbook. So one, obviously, it contains like we'll say it doesn't contain a ton of spells because you don't want to give everything to the wizard. But let's say it has like 2 first level spells and like 2 second level spells and like 1 third level spell, or like 1 spell for the next level that they don't have yet. That way it's like exciting because when they level up and they can cast that next level of spell. But make the spell book a magic item itself. Can only be attuned to by a spellcaster. And then you got to think about who was the wizard that had that spellbook. Is it what did that wizard do? What did they care about? Was it like a wizard? If it was an evil wizard, let's say it was a wizard that there's a bunch of directions you can go with this. But let's say it was a wizard that wanted to make a deal with a devil. So that could affect the spells that you put in the book. But the book could be cursed. I also like curses. I like curses that have a give and take. Oh yeah, it's true. Yeah. The goblins don't care whose it is. Yeah. Oh no, I'm not saying for the goblins. I'm saying this is what you think of to develop cool magic items. You think of how the magic item was made, or who had it previously, something like that. So this was a spell book of and let's say it was like one of his earlier spell books, but he was still focused on figuring out how to summon and make a deal with devils. So it could be let's see. So what kind of like magic would that spellbook have like bound to it? So protection from evil and good, right? Because that's good that's good for protecting you. But you don't want to just like make it like, oh, you can cast this spell. Maybe is protection from evil and good a ritual spell? One moment. What I'm thinking is it could be that the book either gives maybe it lets you summon like a demon. Maybe it has like Find Familiar in it, but when you're attached to it, like the familiar that's summoned with it is a devil, so like an imp or something. And maybe it either it's like a more powerful imp, or but the imp is like out for its own what it cares about, which is cool because then you have an NPC. I like the summon imp idea because then you have an NPC that has its own agenda in the party, which and like this imp would be an imperfect source of knowledge, because one, it might not be bound to tell the truth for what it says, but it could be if you make it too much trouble, then the player is never going to summon it. So it could be that the imp the imp has to do certain things that the player asks, that like it has to follow the commands of the player. That's like a trope, right? The wizard really wanted to be a bard, but his family forced him to learn magic. Oh, so if the player, oh no, would it be funny if you made the spellbook only be bard spells? Well, could the wizard couldn't cast them then, right? Unless I'm sure, I know there are some spells that bards could cast, but so if you wanted to go on that, wizard spells a bard could use. Oh, okay, I got you. Well, so if you want to go with that, that's cool. If the player cares about that, if that's like a part of their character, like, oh, I wanted to be a bard, but my family made me be a wizard, then you could have a then the spell, it could be a magic spell book that has something to do with music. Like if the player took a, yeah, I got what you mean. Yeah. And that could be the owner of the, well, cuz so here's the thing. Bards don't have spell books, right? But one, there could be like, sure, there can be NPCs could multi-class. Two, NPCs are not bound to classes. They can do whatever. But yeah, so like it could be a spell book that that has spells that wizards and bards could cast. So, but like on the part of making it magical, you could just add flavor to the spells. Like, so if the wizard learns spells from this book, like when he casts, here we'll pull up spells, view all spells. What I'm thinking is it could be that whatever spells he learns from this, like from this book, they were made with a bardic spirit. So they have, it's just cosmetic stuff, but like music plays when they cast something, or like if they it's got unseen servant. I don't know if bards can cast oh, here's the thing, right? Bards, lore bards can cast any spell. So then that's fine. But let's see. Bard, can I select Bard and Wizard? Yes, I can. So is this going to give me spells that only cross, or both? I'm going to, oh, no, it gives me both. Oh, maybe no, not all spells. Well, you know what? Bard. We'll go to Bard because I have a pretty good idea of what spells wizards can cast from the Bard spells. Spell levels. First, second, third. I forgot what level you said they were, but we'll say they're probably like level 3. This is kind of on task because we're talking about developing a magic item. Oh my goodness. So let's see here. Let's see, sort by level, right? Yeah, sort by level. They're 6th level by the time they're awarded these magic items. So that means you want a 4th level spell in there also. That way, boop. That way, that's something for that player to look forward to. Un momento. Okay. Sort by level. Okay, so, yeah, charm person, right? Charm person is it's a wizard and a bard spell, sure. But yeah, so, Like it could even be if that player took the performance skill, or like if they have proficiency in using a what's it called, an instrument, like maybe they took the minstrel background or whatever the background is that gives you, proficiency. Um, maybe these spells, maybe so long as you are attuned to this book, so long as you're attuned to this spell book, and attunement is something kind of important because it helps balance the game, so that way, like being only able to be attuned to 3 things. So it is kind of important to use attunement if there is going to be a significant gameplay effect from the magic item. So if the wizard is attuned to this spell book, and it doesn't even have to be a spell book. Maybe it's like a music book. Maybe maybe it's like a book of but it's a book of music, because it was written by this bard, but they're all spells that a wizard can cast. So, while attuned to this spell book, or whatever, actually I should write this out, right? Here I'll write this down. I'll write this out temporarily, and we'll give it a name. Right, designing a codex. We're not designing a codex right now, but we are designing a magic item. So, let's see here. So it's a magical spell tome / bard music book. Because it could be a, and the way that this can make sense, it requires attunement by a wizard or bard. Because this could be a magic item for a bard. That if the bard is that if the bard's attuned to it, these are all bard spells. So the effects also help bards, right? Because otherwise, why is a bard going to be writing a wizard book? Let's do a split screen here. Boop. There we go. Okay, so and we can come up with a fun name for this too. Oh, am I still on heading? No, I'm not. All right, let's make this a little bit smaller so we don't run out of room. Boop, 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 boop. Pardon me. Okay, so spells. Yeah, sure. Charm person. Detect magic. Maybe. I could think of something fun for charm person. Not detect magic. Comprehend languages. All right, and we don't want to do a ton of spells in here because we don't want to give the wizard everything. Comprehend languages, maybe. Ooh, there's a lot of first level spells in here, so that makes sense. If I use advanced, can I concentration sources? No. Source category? No. No. Attack type, save required, spell school. I wish I could sort this by just spells that bard and wizard can cast. No. Okay. Alright, so it's fine. Okay, so you know what? I'm gonna be a little more picky about what spells are in here. So, disguise self could be fun. I can. Okay, so here we're gonna do this right now. So disguise self. So while you are attuned to this spellbook, just the disguise spell self is in here. The disguise self spell is in here, but it alters the disguise self spell. And while you so you can only, so let's say you I would recommend cleaning up the language. This is not edited. This is gonna be rough language. I would recommend cleaning the language up to make it similar to spells and item descriptions used in actual published materials. But I'm just gonna be writing the basic idea of everything. So the spell turns the caster into a famous either bard or a famous personality. Famous person, and only the spell. So it only does this. It does not. While you're attuned to this, this is the only thing that disguise self can do. The spell cast, it turns into a famous bard or personality. You have advantage on let's see. Yeah. So like while disguise, like so basically like it turns the person into a celebrity. Like they look like it makes them look like a celebrity, in your like whatever celebrity in your world. You can pick somebody, you can make somebody up. It could be very fun. It and let's see, while disguised as such, you have advantage on. So it's either advantage on charisma checks, or advantage on. This could be dependent on what kind of famous person it is. Like maybe it turns you into the bard that wrote this book, and like maybe that bard is still alive. Like if let's say they were like a half elf or like an elf bard and they lived for a long time, like so it makes you turn into them. So you look like this famous bard. So you could have advantage on persuasion, on okay, so charisma checks would mean that you have advantage on all, like on persuasion, intimidation, and deception checks. So maybe it's up to you how powerful you want this to be. But so I guess I would hedge on it being less powerful. So let's say it gives you advantage on persuasion. Persuasion and I guess deception checks. So I guess it like you're like this person, you're like this famous person. So it would make sense that you can deceive because you want to be able to keep this personality. Now the fun part here is a wizard, like the party wizard now, can be like the face character in some situations because there's a good chance that the wizard does not have good charisma. But if they use this disguise self spell and they turn into this celebrity, they have advantage on checks. But then the other fun thing is, what if like if they're in like a town or a city or something like that? What if the person that they look like shows up there? And people are like telling this famous celebrity person or bard or whatever, like, hey, like I just saw you, like in the bar, like having an argument with the innkeep or something, like so I don't know. So there could be fun things from that. I really liked the imp idea, but we could either modify that to fit a bard, or we can just toss it out. So these are 2 first level spells. Well, I'm sorry, that's so disguise self. Like comprehend languages. Comprehend languages is you understand any spoken languages that you hear. Like this could just be like an aesthetic thing. Like you it could be that like you want like the player understands like the spoken languages, but it's like sung to them. It could be something silly like that. Like they hear music and everything. Or like all of the let's see, all of the like so they can read any language. What if they can read any language, but it doesn't show up as common, it shows up as like music notes or something. And like you could play with that kind of stuff. Let's see. So okay, that's disguise self. Let's go just look at the second level spells now. I'm just going to do this level by level that way. Boop. Yeah. Second level spells. Filter. Boop. And I guess we'll skip third. We'll just go straight to fourth after this. What's a cool knock. So knock could be fun. Like knock it because it's supposed to open like locked doors or anything like that. So it could like maybe the knock spells while they're attuned to this either it plays music while they do it, so it's not good for stealth. But like there could be, I don't know, there could be a beneficial thing to it. Like maybe maybe the party gets like, I don't know, like when they hear it on a successful unlocking, the characters nearby get like temporary hit points equal to your intelligence bonus or your proficiency bonus. Linking things to your proficiency bonus is a good way to make sure that stuff does not advance too quickly. But yeah, so that's one thing. Or it could be that like if you cast the knock spell, it is like a thunderous blast, and it kind of makes like a line of like the shatter spell. So it's like the shatter spell, except it's like a line. Like, let's say you cast it on a door. The knock is not so much the door unlocking, it is the door getting blown off the hinges by, like, a powerful trumpet, right? And so, like, there's, like, I don't know, like 15 feet. They have to make a save and just rip off a shatter or something like that. Hold person, yeah, okay. Hold person's a fun one. Let's say, okay, you know what? So hold person's a fun one. You could think of something with that. But yeah, like hold person, something with music, right? Like, so that's the idea. If you want to, like, make this spell book for the wizard, because the wizard wanted to be a bard. Yeah. Let's look at 4th level spells really quick. Charm Monster. I mean, Charm Monster is pretty obvious what you could do with that. Right, so the charmed creature is friendly to you. How long does it last? It lasts an hour. So Charmed Monster, it could be that, like, if the player makes, like, the player could make a performance check. And, like, if they, let's say they use Charm Monster, but as part of casting the spell, the player makes a performance check, and if they, if they beat a DC of 10 plus the CR of the monster, then when the spell wears off, maybe the creature is indifferent to them, because, like, normally when the spell ends, the creature knows it was charmed by you. Usually that means that the person's gonna be the person or creature's gonna be pissed off. They might not attack right then because they're intelligent. Maybe they realize, like, oh, I'm gonna die if I attack, you know, a full party. But so that's something you could do. That way, like, oh, like, you've charmed the creature not just with the spell but with music, and that way, like, yeah, like, when the spell wears off, so long as you were not, like, abusive to it, then maybe they're indifferent to you instead of wanting to be super pissed off at you and kill you. What's another? Confusion. Okay, confusion, right? Confusion could be a lot of fun because, so you could alter the confusion table. You could alter the confusion table and, like, add results or swap results out. Like, maybe the confusion is accompanied by music, like mystic, like music that's playing, and so it could just, you know, it could have no. If the spellbook only had cosmetic effects, like everything did the same thing, I would not make it an attuned item. It would be not attuned, because it's just like, while you have the spellbook on your person, you cast these spells, or maybe, like, just these spells that you have, they just do, like, you know, the different cosmetic effects. But I would not make it attuned because there's no reason to, because the player's not going to want to keep the item if it takes an attunement slot and it doesn't do anything mechanically. In general. Oh, hey, buddy, you want to come up? Here's my floof. My floof boy. Here, take a seat. Who's my good boy? Alright. But yeah, so confusion. Confusion could be cool. Like, music could be playing. And so, like, oh, like, they get a 2 to 6. It could be something as simple as, like, they're dancing, right? But that's not really, like, doing anything. But, you know, it's fun. But yeah, you could swap out or add an effect, something like distracting, like they sing, like they sing discordantly, and so, like, oh, you okay, buddy? They sing discordantly, and so like, any nearby creatures have to make a saving throw. Look at the gibbering mouther. Oh, the gibbering mouther just causes confusion, doesn't it? It could spread confusion. That would be nasty. So if they get one of the results on this confusion, and I would only say, like, one of the results, not, like, all of them. But yeah, like, if either you swap out the creature uses an action to attack nearby, or you swap out the creature doesn't do anything, because that's kind of boring too. But yeah, like, if they discordantly sing, and they can, like, spread the confusion to, like, creatures within, like, 10 feet. See, that would be cool then, because then when you get a 1 and they move in a random direction, then like yeah, and I would not like I wouldn't make this like it wouldn't be spreading confusion, I guess, because like you don't want to make it like too hard to track. You don't want to make it too difficult to like or like too powerful. But let's say yeah, like they basically turn into like if they roll a 2 to 6, then they're discordantly singing, and anybody within I don't know 10 feet of them has to make a wisdom saving throw, or they have like disadvantage. They have they have disadvantage on like their next attack roll because they're distracted by the music or something. Like you could do fun things with that. Anything else? Again, hallucinatory terrain. That's a fun spell. I also would not mind buffing this spell a little bit to make it more appealing to cast, because it's such a fun spell. I'm not sure what you do with it, because like at the moment, it's very versatile. Oh, you know what? Maybe hallucinatory terrain can include like it can include like a band or something that plays music, and in addition to like if they fall for the illusion, then they have to make like an easy DC, like DC 10, or become enthralled as per what is it? Hypnotic pattern. So like make it like a minor thing, but something cool and extra. Yeah. So those are the ideas for that magic book. I'm gonna get rid of it now. The cool name. Let's say. I don't know. Bardic Book of Ballads. No. Let's see. Bardic. It doesn't have to be bard, but yeah, it could be musical. Musical mayhem. Or it could be named after the writer. Like it could be named after the bard. Minstrel. Mystical minstralism. Mystical music. Yeah. Making magic with music. Something like that. Depends on how silly you want it to be. I do not go in for the silly stuff usually, but it's easy to think of silly stuff, and it's up to you and your audience, your players. Okay, I need to do this. Okay, so guide to lichdom on the nature of life everlasting. So the first journal entry. Oh yes, absolutely happy to help. Have a fantastic evening, and thank you for chatting. Yeah. Yes, thank you. Yeah. Okay. So, journal entry 1. Okay. So these are from the perspective. These are from the perspective, the writing of seekers, people that are looking for how to become a lich. Okay. So, before we get to the journal entries, maybe I want to do like an outline, like just kind of like an idea of what is required to become a lich. So one thing, I forgot. I do not remember where I got this from. But I love the idea of having to sacrifice / kill something / someone you love. Right? That's awesome. I do not remember where I got that idea. But like because you're thinking of like a lich, right? Like that's awful. Like you have to, which means that you have to like develop a loving relationship with something, like because like let's say like let's say like you're like an evil, like let's say you're an evil wizard and you want to become a lich and you're not used to loving things, or maybe you are. Just because you're evil does not mean that you can, just because you're evil doesn't mean that you can't love. And this could be romantic love. This is down to the individual, but this could be romantic love. This could be like platonic love. But something or someone that you... Now, how do you define love here? Would you define it as you would normally, like, something you would give up your life for? Like, like, oh, like you would rather, like, I don't know, like you love this person so much that you would rather die than them, and that is who you need to sacrifice or kill in order to become a lich. That is like, because the other thing is like the other thing is it's you want to make it hard to become a lich, and there's a lot of things that could stop that, like ingredients and all that kind of stuff. Finding the knowledge itself should be impossible, or near impossible. But yeah, so you want to make it very difficult too. So like this is dramatic. This is something, right? What else? Let's see. You need to. Ooh, oh no. I was going to say. So I think by 5e standards, you need to, like, as far as like a lich goes. I saw something around here. 5e. The 5e like defines a lich as like somebody that has trapped a soul inside of a phylactery. A lich is created by an arcane ritual that traps the wizard's soul in a phylactery. Okay. Phylactery is traditionally an amulet in the shape of a small box, but it can take the form of any item possessing an interior space into which arcane sigils of naming, binding, immortality, and dark magic can be scribed in silver. So, what if part of making your phylactery... So is part of making your phylactery that you have to trap a loved one's soul, like, in it? Or like you have to, like, yeah, like, that could be it. Or... what if they have to love you back, too? Oh, my gosh. That's even worse and better. Oh, so it has to be like a joint love. Oh, my God. So that's awful and great. So let's see. The creation of the phylactery must use the soul of someone that loves you and that you love. Yeah. That's because, like, that means that they're not moving on. Like, like the afterlife. That means that you are destroying this person. You are destroying their soul in order to make your phylactery. That's like that. Oh, that's good. I like that. Okay, so we're gonna do that. So let's see. So that's got to be like one of the later ones. That's got to be one of the later ones. Text, normal text. Apply normal text. No, not. Come back, caveat. Caveat. There we go. Okay, we're gonna make you bigger because you're so small, so teeny tiny. 14. Okay, I can kind of see that. Okay. So what's another bitty bit? What is another biddly bit of becoming a lich? And by the way, if anybody that's in chat wants to volunteer or anything like this, please do. I will. No guarantee I will use your ideas, but they might inspire me. Brainstorming's very fun and very productive in my experience. So let's see here. 18. Yeah, good enough. Okay. So, what else could be used in the path to lichdom? So, what separates a lich from mindless undead? Having a soul, right? Like that or something like that, right? So, and this can be part of the journal, right? So this could be, what is it? Comparison. So a comparison of mindless undead versus thinking beings like vampires, wights, revenants. Uh, mindless undead versus mindless undead versus thinking is like there's a better word for that than thinking. Sentient. I don't know. No, sapient. Whatever. Okay. So what is let's see. So the soul. So that is definitely like what the phylactery is for. The phylactery is to contain your soul. But what else do you have to do on the path? So you have to. So like okay. So part of this is learning. Okay, yeah. So part of this is learning the source of lichdom, the power of the ritual, making contact with the patron, basically. And there are a few sources of this. Orcus, Vecna. I'm not sure who else might. And you know, like you can make up your own, but honestly, like I like including. I'm a big fan of the multiverse thing, where that like all of these settings are in like this shared multiverse. Which, by the way, to my knowledge, it was created by an author named Michael Moorcock, who I love. The Elric series, the Eternal Champion series. Michael Moorcock, great author, came up with as far as I know, he came up with the ideas of like law versus chaos on like a cosmic level, and the hand of the hand of Vecna, the hand and eye of Vecna was inspired by his stuff. It was like the hand of Kos and the eye of Kul or something like that. But yeah, so what was I gonna look up? Oh yeah, let's see. So D&D. So I like including classic D&D historical like stuff like Orcus and Vecna, stuff that spans settings. So let's see. D&D, Lich, gods. Oh, look at this. Lich. Look at this. Deities, variant liches, notable liches, deities. Liches before becoming deities. Oh, you know who else would have it? What's her name? There it is. Lich, Vlaakith. Vlaakith. Anybody else fun on here? Vecna, Lich Lord. Is Orcus on here somewhere? Or and this is a setting specific thing. So Vlaakith is not a god, although I think she kind of is. She wants to become a god or a goddess, whatever. Oh, has been attempting to attain godhood. It's right there. But what you could do is, so with a lich, like other liches are not going to tell you how to become liches because they want power, right? But maybe they will. So let's see. So an ancient lich from ages ago. So like, so a lich that was alive, that's been around. A lich which means a lich that's been around for millennia. Okay, so we've got learning the source of lichdom. Okay, the power of the ritual, making contact with the patron. And let's see, item number 1, why become a lich? And like these things are going to be like my journal entries. Like I'm gonna end up writing, like I think each one might be somebody else, like somebody different. Comparison. Let's see, learning the source of lichdom, power of the ritual, making contact with the patron. Of this knowledge with a holder, I guess. So a holder of with a holder of this knowledge. Why become a lich? Why would you become a lich? Like, because, like, okay, like you want to live forever, but like, let's see, no taste. So no taste, no taste, no breath, no life. Only a love of the art. the art being magic, because like that's really like that's most of what you can do as a lich. I mean, I guess you could rule too, but yeah, or other desires, such as I don't know, like do you like what would you want to become a lich so you could like rule like a nation forever? Like I don't know, because like there's easier. Why become a because like there's an easier path like being a vampire. Why not take an easier path such as vampirism? Is vampirism oh yeah, is vampirism possible in this age? Who knows, right? These are questions. Who's my cute boy? My sleepy boy. So, why not take an easier path such as vampirism? Yeah. Now, from what is so something that I am totally intending to steal from Loop Hero video game. There is a lich in Loop Hero, and I apologize. And there are spoilers for this. It's not like endgame spoilers. This is like end of Act 1 spoilers for Loop Hero. It's a cool game, but the lich in Loop Hero, he's the first like big boss, and that's not a spoiler. But the lich in this, he didn't intentionally. It does not seem like he intentionally became a lich. He just kept on using magic to automate different parts of his life. So that's kind of cool. It like turning yourself into an AI essentially. I guess instead of an artificial intelligence, it's a magical an MI, a magical intelligence. I don't know. But yeah. So I think the ancient lich from ages ago. I am going that is going to be inspired by Loop Hero Lich. So yeah, the Loop Hero Lich basically just kept on using he wanted to. I don't remember all of this exactly, so this is going to be inaccurate, but it's going to be cool because it's mixed up with my own ideas. So he wanted to be able let's say he wanted to be able to continue magical research and experiments while he was sleeping. So he basically automated his body to continue doing stuff while he was sleeping. And then it was I don't remember it, but it was probably part of age that he couldn't remember things, so he would automate some spell cast. Oh, okay, use it. So basically, imagine using a mnemonic device to cast a spell. So making spell casting easier, because as he got older and older, let's say, he was no longer able to remember or speak the complex spells consistently. So you automate that part of your body. So you just have to let's say you just have to think about grapes, and you will do all the necessary. Your body will do all the necessary things to cast the fireball spell. So that is, I think that's what happened with the Loop Hero Lich, is that step by step he turned himself into a Lich. I don't know if he'd actually be technically considered a Lich, or if he's just a shell of magical automation, at doing everything that he would do as a live person, except he is now not a live person. I mean, hell, maybe his soul's trapped. I don't know. But not a Lich, really. Again, spoilers. I am gonna look up the Loop Hero Lich. The Lich. Blah blah blah. Palace, travel, empower, sorcerer goes. How many? Oh, this is a lot. Oh, okay. Here we go. What if I'm too young for such magical power? What if my juvenile wish to fix the world is too powerful? All, easy, array, okay. Yeah, look at this. Magic tolerance. My array of protected spells on my body can automate its functions, and it exceeds all expectations. So they tried to poison him, but the spells took over, so he was able to beat the poisoner in a magic duel, and develop an antidote based on the remains of the food. Or maybe so like while he was unconscious, his body either tortured or I must continue to improve my creation. Automate his body as he sleeps. See, that would be highly efficient. Hilarious. Entropy is merciless. All energy, blah blah. I can separate expanses. That's from one existence. I can see and absorb necessary in reality. Helplessness, weighing me down if I fail. Imitative spells, more accurately, are my magnum opus. As I age, I begin to lose consciousness more often as the woven spell array takes over. Each time I wake up, I see how perfect my creation is. Every decision, all the work, the notes, and the experiments, it's as if I made them in my prime. Even the rare mistake is where I would have made it myself. That's a very cool idea. Credit to the person that made this. The imitation is flawless. I'm not even sure what I am right now. Am I an old man full of sanity and health, or the weave controlling an unconscious, feeble body? The imitation has emotions. My decisions wouldn't be exactly mine without them. No more reason to keep the flesh preserved. That would be impractical. The skeleton shall suffice. One could think my current independent existence as an array of spells is the final point. So I get, but I won't make that mistake. Anything that doesn't evolve is doomed for oblivion. Even without my original, I have much room for improvement. The solution, blah blah. Luckily, confines all the time. My calculations. Okay, so and let's see. All right, so that's what I got from this, and maybe I like this so much that maybe this is going to be the source of maybe this will be the source of whatchamacallit. This will be the one. This will be the Lich. This will be the person that she has to contact and like learn from to become a Lich, if she wants to become a Lich. That's not what we're doing right now. What we're doing right now is we're doing this, like, learning about. So maybe this was... how would she learn... Okay. Okay, so yes, so one of the journal... This is one of the journal entries. One of the journal entries is, like, a false lichdom. So... would it be journal entry 3? Yeah, maybe journal entry 3. Yeah, so a false lichdom. Like a mage, so yeah, a mage, and like, I'm gonna have to fluff this, I'm gonna have to make this actually writing at a later point, but at right now, I just want to get the point out. So let's see, a false lichdom, a mage automates functions of his body, over time, until he is gone, and only the automated spell weave, and only the automated spell weave, a peerless facsimile. Is facsimile, I like the word, but is facsimile inherent? Let's see. I want to know if that's the right word to use. A peerless facsimile. An exact copy. Yep. Okay, great. A peerless facsimile. Until he is gone, let's see, a peerless, the automated, a peerless facsimile of the original, is present, but the original, but this is not true lichdom. The original is gone. To all others, it is as if they've never left. But of what use is this to the original? To the dead original. Yeah. Okay, cool. So that's So one of the entries will be they found out about a false like a false lichdom. Don't take this path because it's pointless. Like, again, because yeah, you get the idea. All right, so so the fourth entry is the fourth entry. Yeah, the fourth entry. I think the fourth entry would be it is required to kill. Is required to sacrifice. The love. Let's see. What's a good? It is required to sacrifice the love. It is required to sacrifice the love, and the one loved. The love must be mutual. And the hollow that it leaves will never heal. This is attached to having to sacrifice or kill someone you love. So it is required to sacrifice the love and one loved. So you have to sacrifice not just the one you love, but and that loves you. It has to be mutual. But you must sacrifice the love, and it leaves this hollow in you. It can only Yeah. So this kind of reminds me of the Dragonlance books from the D&D Dragonlance books from like the 80s and 90s, I think, where the two of the main characters are twins. Caraman is like a big charismatic like warrior dude, and Raistlin is a sickly mage. And they love each other, and they have like this brotherly connection. But Raistlin cares more about magic than anything else. And so like he is willing to sacrifice Caraman. And Caraman goes through a lot of after spoilers. But yeah, after like the original trilogy, like basically the opening of like the next book, after, so Raistlin like goes on to become like a super magical, like tries to become a god basically. But I'm sorry, that is the next, that is like the second like kind of like half series. But so the opening of the second half series, it's like years later after they save like the world basically, but like Raistlin has like left to go pursue dark studies, and Caraman can't live without his brother. Like he's married. Like he married the sweetheart that he met and loved on their adventure in the original trilogy. But Caraman could never move on from his love for his brother. And so he becomes like this, like he becomes a terrible alcoholic. And I don't think he's physically abusive to his wife, but I will say that the beginning of those books, the beginning of that book is hard to read because I think the writer even reminds you that Caraman used to be like this, this handsome, this huge muscle dude. Like imagine like, I don't know, imagine like Arnold Schwarzenegger in his prime, except he doesn't speak with an Austrian accent, and but yeah, so he was like this huge handsome warrior dude with like lightning reflexes. He just wasn't very smart. And yeah, so he's turned into like this like fat alcoholic slob that like is and like can't move on. And so it's awful. It was really difficult to get through that part. Anyway, We're talking about how to become a lich. So what this is as part of this is that you have to sacrifice the love and the one that is loved. The love must be mutual, and the hollow that it leaves will never heal. Thus, passion for the art must be paramount, or else lose one's mind to despair, or to the hollow of one's heart. There you go. That's some nice and dramatic writing, right? That's cool. I like that, and I could probably keep this. Like this. The journal entry 3, I gotta, make it actually writing. But journal entry 4 is it's 2 sentences. It is punchy. Yeah. And you could even ask the question, how to develop a love and receive love in turn. How to develop a love and receive that love in turn. When one knows how this love must be sacrificed, or how this love will end, how this relationship, love. When one knows how this love will be sacrificed for life everlasting, or for eternity. Eternity? I think eternity. Yeah. All right, so we've got our 3rd and 4th journal entries. The first journal entry has to be something a little bit more tame, because it's like an early journal entry into. So maybe the first journal entry is an examination into. Okay, so the first journal entry, I guess, was why become a lich. So, why choose lichdom in pursuit of eternity. It is said that such a creature is anathema to everything that is considered life. No touch. I guess you have touch. No taste. No breath. No. No taste. No breath. No love. Only a passion that burns for the art. Why not pursue? Yeah, why not pursue vampirism? I guess so. Vampirism requires to be a vampire. To be a vampire is to be a creature controlled by lust for blood, or for blood and otherwise. In fact, everyone knows what vampires are lustful. They have bloodlust. Where did that come from? Bloodlust. To be a vampire is to be Thank you, grammar suggestions. Yeah, so to be a vampire is to be a creature controlled by lust. A lich has no such bounds. A lich has no such chains. Only the requirements to continue to keep eternity alive. To keep eternity. So, we just figured out why you would become a lich instead of a vampire, because it is certainly easier to become a vampire. If you are powerful enough to pursue lichdom, you could probably just like create undead a vampire, and then become a vampire, right? But why not? Yeah. So why not pursue vampirism? Because to be a vampire is to be a creature controlled by lust. So a lich, so somebody's like pursuing lichdom, they do not want to be controlled. So that means that like a lich is seeking like utter freedom. They are seeking free. Yes. Yeah. So oh, I still have this as heading. Normal text. Oh, but normal text. Did I just fudge up stuff? Let's see. Maybe not. Let's see. Where it is. Okay, I think it's okay. Oh, this might be funky. I'm not sure what I did with headings. All right. You know what? Screw it. We don't need to bother with headings right now. Okay, so, where was I? Okay, so, a lich has no such chains. Yes, so, to be a lich, let's see, to pursue lichdom is to pursue true freedom. Freedom, so yeah, so freedom from a fear of death. Freedom from life's bonds, like from all the things that are required by life. Freedom from the trappings, the trappings of life, and needs of a living body. Yeah. I like that. I wouldn't have thought of that if it wasn't for this. That's like, so writing this stuff out, talking this out in stream, I very much like this. That this is why you become a lich. Because you want true freedom. You do not want to be bound by anything. And so something else here. So what I've kind of been playing with is, like, some of these patrons, where is it? So some of these sources of lichdom, I think, so like Orcus and like Vecna, like a lot of these, they might like require you, like if they're gonna teach you to like the mortal ones, the immortal ones, like the god ones, like Orcus. Okay, so we need to put this here. The deities that grant lichdom require no. So mortals that teach lichdom to others would require so mortals that teach lichdom that teach lichdom to others would require the possession of the new Lich's phylactery. So as to hold sway over them and to never, yeah, and to never be threatened by them. But in this way, they cheat. But in this way, they cheat the prospective Lich of true freedom. For they, for the, yeah, yeah. So it's kind of like a nasty, trick, right? So a mortal Lich, mortal. So a mortal that teaches, I can't even say, a Lich, I guess, a Lich that teaches, yeah, a Lich, a Master Lich, yeah, I don't know, a Master Lich that teaches Lichdom to others would require the possession of the new Lich's phylactery, so as to hold sway over them, and to never be threatened by them. But in this way, they cheat the prospective Lich of true freedom. So I wonder if that perhaps this makes the Lich unfinished. Like a vampire, true freedom can only be had with the destruction of one's master. The possession of one's phylactery. That's awesome. You can have sub-liches. You can have like lich lights, kinda. They can't become full liches until they possess their phylactery. But the master lich has like somebody that's super powerful, a super powerful spellcaster that still can't, is still basically a lich, at their beck and call. Oh, my sleepy puppy. My good boy. All right. So, so this is a study. So journal entry 2 would be a study into methods of lichdom. A history, like a history of liches and prospective sources of the knowledge. So, so deities and existing liches, yeah, existing liches. And each one has a pro-con. I'm not sure what the con, like, so it's obvious what the con for being taught lichdom by a mortal, by a lich would be. And liches might not teach other liches because, like, maybe they are forbidden to by, like if they got the knowledge from Orcus or Vecna. That would be fun. If that false lich, but that false lich could actually have discovered the actual method of lichdom. Yeah. Okay. So we kind of had. So we have something for our. We've got a bunch. We've got a bunch for our On the Nature of Life Everlasting. And Ansev is a harrow in my setting, which is it's the evil version of a priest, of an evil version of a saint. So where does Ansev come in here? Puppies, it's okay. I got some doggos barking. Where was I? Okay, right. Oh, nope. I forgot. Where was I? Comparison. Source of Lichdom. I wanted to add something to one of these. I assume it was the second one because that's the shortest, but I don't know what it was now. Study into methods of Lichdom, a history of Liches, prospective sources of the knowledge, deities and existing Liches. Deities, fiends, existing Liches. Anything else? I don't remember what the extra thing I wanted to add was, but... Oh, tip of my tongue. Vecna, Vecna and Orcus. So it's something to do with the deities, I think. Vecna and Orcus. Oh, Ansev. How is Ansev connected to this? So Ansev would be a... Okay, this is a spoiler for my games. If you are a player in my games, please mute yourself. Or please mute this for, I don't know, a minute? Yeah, a minute. Okay, mute yourself now. Or mute the volume now. Do not listen for a minute. Thank you. Okay, starting now. So Ansev is Vecna backwards. And the players discovered recently that, and this is not at all a story thing, this is not at all an important thing in the story, but they discovered that Ansev, who is supposed to be a Harrow, and Harrows have only been around for like 700 years, as long as the human gods have, but Ansev was around before, in a previous age. So, okay, so, Ansev. Okay, all right, you're good to listen to me again. Oh, and okay. So Ansev was around before this. So was he one of these? So Ansev, yeah, I guess so. So Ansev, as a source, had followers that prayed to him. Keeper of magic and secrets. I also like, what is it, Ettercaps? Ettercaps as spies of secrets, playing on their webs. Playing the secrets to their webs to be heard by Ansev. Cool. Yeah. Okay, so, We've got our journal stuff. I'm gonna make this super tiny because I don't want to get rid of it, but I'm not sure if it's useful, or I'm not sure if it's gonna be used again. So make it teeny tiny. And make the spacing smaller because, bam, make the spacing smaller. Bam. Still huge distance between, whatever. Alright, good enough. Alright, so, boop, boop. Okay, cool. Oh, I can't wait to show, can't wait to get this to players. Yeah. Okay. So, Codex. Oh my god. I've got a magic item. I've got to develop a magic item. I've got to develop a powerful magic item. This is this would be an artifact? No, legendary, I guess. Artifacts are kind of like, are items that are cross-setting, to my mind, from what I saw when I look at artifacts in D&D Beyond. Hey, let's look at D&D Beyond quick. Magic items. Let's see here. Okay, artifacts. Boop, boop. Yeah. So artifacts are things that cross settings. Like is what's it called? It's not called Stormbringer in here. Oh, this was another Michael Moorcock thing that was ripped off and used by Gygax in D&D, which is fine. That's how inspiration works, by taking stuff. Not the Sword of Kos. The Black Blade, rune, the Black Rune Blade. Is it not here? Maybe it's not an artifact. what's it called? They called it something. It's not called Stormbringer here. It is called Black Razor. It's called Black Razor. Oh, so Black Razor is not an artifact apparently. It should be Black Razor. It is a legendary item. Nope, should be an artifact. Whatever. These are just my definitions. So anyway, unless legendary items are what I'm thinking of. Blackstaff. No. Yeah, I think these things are a little mixed up. Or whatever, they're just mixed up to me. Okay, so we gotta make a codex. What is a codex? What is a codex, you say? A codex is an example that I'm gonna pull up. A codex is where's Strongholds and Followers? Actually, maybe I'll pull up Kingdoms and Warfare instead. A codex is a book that is a magic item. It is a magic tome. Like, you know, when you see art or a miniature of a wizard, and a wizard's got a big ass book in their hand. Your wizard in D&D never carries their spell book in their hand because they don't have to. A codex is a book that you do carry around in your hand because you need it. You need to be holding it. You need to be carrying that big ass book. It's cool. It's dramatic. But the codex, codex is a book that is about a fundamental force, like a codex of time. And it's not just that the book is about time. Like, if the book was destroyed, time would get messed up. Like, basically, in writing a codex, you are binding part of reality to the physical book. So, as an example, from Strongholds and Followers, the Codex Terranosis is about the mortal plane, I think. It's about, like, the world. And a consequence, if you remove the Codex Terranosis from the prime material plane, then the banish spell does not, like, there's no saving throw against the banish spell. Or rather, the existence of the codex is the reason that there is a saving throw on the banish spell. Because the book binds and protects the world or something like that. So I am going to pull up example codices. MCDM. I think I put them in there. I've got my folders are terribly organized. Oh, it's in D&D 5e probably. Yep, that would make sense. MCDM. Kingdoms and Warfare. Yep, Kingdoms and Warfare. Kingdoms and Warfare is their newer book, which means perhaps that the items that are in here are better made. Codices. Okay, cool. Thank you very much. You can go away, bookmarks bar. Okay, and in fact, we can make this part bigger. Okay, there we go. Okay. So, we're not going to go over what a codex is. I just kind of went over that. Oh God, wow, that's hilarious. I never noticed. I never noticed this. Encountering a codex. Okay, I am going to read this because I must have skimmed this. Each codex grants whoever attunes to it enormous power. Before the players ever encounter a codex in the hands of a formidable enemy or sealed away for protection, you should make sure they have some idea of what these books can do. Many of these abilities are dramatic and even over the top, but not wholly useful in most adventure scenarios. Important. It lets them affect the world, not a combat. I mean, it also affects combat in some way, but it is overpowered in the way that it affects the world, which kind of gives me more ideas for my codex that I'm going to design. I've already designed. Anyway, even still, it becomes unfair, even unsportsmanlike, to surprise your players by making them the target of one of the abilities without warning them. Yeah, so example, if you attempt to read the mind of a character attuned to the Astral Codex, your head explodes. Hilarious. This is also very much an MCDM thing. The players should know before they encounter an NPC attuned to the stars. Anyone who wields it has learned mind mastery, detecting star elves. What this means doesn't. Their minds can't be read. Anyone attempts to winds up with their brain scrambled or worse. When the heroes are forewarned, this alarm bell is much less ridiculous. Okay, I don't care. Must spend a month. Oh, oof. I've been more generous. Although she has not yet attuned to it. So, uninterrupted study, no less than 8 hours per day. Ooh, so you cannot be adventuring if you are trying to attune to a codex. Need not take the book with them. Oh. I don't know how I feel about that. Once per month, so they have to check the codex again. I don't know how I feel about that. Also, would you want to leave a codex somewhere? I don't know. Rather than on your person, where is it most safe? On with you or somewhere else? I'll tell you right now that if it's if it's in D&D and you're a player, it's probably I don't know. It's probably safer on your person than it is to leave it up to the whims of the DM. Man, this is a long stream. How long have I been streaming? 2.5 hours. I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna do this. Maybe I'll do this later. I might do this in the next stream, which could be tonight, or it could be. Oh yeah, okay. So we did a lot of things today. The last 2.5 hours, we did a lot of. I did like newbie DM tips. I have no idea what the title of this is gonna end up coming out as because I changed the stream title a couple times. We did newbie DM tips. We helped out Thorn Umbreon in chat with some newbie DM stuff and developing like Fandelver, Lost Minds of Fandelver. We went over some like basic DM tips, that kind of stuff, and I'll help you out in 1 minute, buddy. And we did get one of the things intended done. And I figured out some really cool things about liches in my world, which is very cool, and also probably means that liches will be a bigger factor in the future. Because I think, and like I'm sure this is not an original idea, but the thought process that led me to why become a lich instead of something else that's undead and will live forever, like a vampire. Why become a lich? Because you do not want to be slave to anything. Which probably means that liches are inherently chaotic. Which is another cool thing. I'll think about this for a minute. But the consequences of that would mean that liches are inherently chaotic, which means that they would always fall on. Oh no, I guess they would always be neutral. I was thinking, like if they're inherently chaotic, then that means that they'll always side with the forces of chaos, because like they do not want to be bound to anything that includes like feeling like loyal to anything. So, but I don't know. I don't know if that like law and chaos on a cosmic scale. So like, would that mean that they are chaotic or that they are neutral? Because they do not want to be balanced. They don't want to be. They also would not like be bound to the like balance. Or are they like outside of the alignment chart? I don't know. It also depends on like the alignment chart's a very personal thing too. Like what law means to you, what good means to you. I feel like good and evil are definitely more, explainable. But law versus chaos is. First, law versus chaos is older than good versus evil in the D&D sense. The original two alignments that were added, they weren't originally a part of the game, I think, were law and chaos, and they were kind of like religions. But they were basically added because they were basically put in the game, I believe, because it was a way of preventing players from being dicks, from like stealing from each other. Because then you are definitely on the same team. You are lawful. Monsters are chaotic. But anyway. So, the Lich stuff is really cool. I am very happy with what I got out of the Lich stuff. So thank you for that. And I am going to type a little bit here on that thought process just now. Let's see. If Liches desire true freedom, they are not bound to any loyalty. Does this make them inherently chaotic or inherently neutral? Does this make that, make them. Uh, yeah. Cool. So, this has been Distracted DM. Thank you for hanging out with me. I don't know, all dozen of you. Uh, yeah. And in future, stop by. I should be streaming most days at 5 p.m. EST. Uh, yeah, whether I'm doing something D&D related or playing like Conan or something. Yeah. So thanks for hanging out. This has been Distracted DM. Oh, that's right. I've also been narrating some out of print books, like Tales of Ravenloft, which is the first two streams up, I think, and there's also on my YouTube channel as VODs. Yeah, they're pretty good scary books, especially for October. So yeah, all right. This has been Distracted DM. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I will see you in the dungeon.